Hey everybody, it's Jeff with All Keys Pro. How you doing? I'm going to today bring you the video that I promised you last week of a comparison with the Behringer Model D and the Moog Matriarch. Differences and similarities between the Model D and the Matriarch are very similar, and one could almost say pretty close to identical to the differences and similarities that I spoke of last week with the grandmother and the Model D. So I thought what I would do today, instead of going on a diatribe about all that, is just play you some sounds and tweak a little bit as I go and not talk so much. I'm going to start off with just a single oscillator with a sawtooth waveform, and on each instrument, and then I'm going to add stuff to it. I have a little bit of delay. I'm using the delay on the Moog Matriarch, the internal delay, which I love, and I'm on the Model D. I'm using the, what is it? The Memory Boy analog delay, which I like. It's a nice sounding delay. They're similar, not really the same, but I kind of tried to get similar kind of delay lengths and feedback and all that, and mix. So it's kind of not drastically different, just to kind of give it a little bit of space and yeah, just kind of space around the sound. So yeah, so stand by, and I'm going to jump in here and play some different patches and kind of tweak as I go. Hope you enjoy. All right, here we go. So this is a little bit of where we're starting. They're similar-ish, right? So that's the Model D. And this is the Matriarch. Model D. Matriarch. Wow, it's brighter up there. Can you check that out? Middle C. You can really hear that filter is brightening up as you go up the keyboard on the Model D. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to add Oscillator 2 on both, also a sawtooth, but an octave down. So these are two sawtooths an octave apart. Matriarch. Love that sound. So I would sort of describe these, the filter and just the overall tone of the Behringer Model D feels kind of slightly more focused. And I've really worked to try to get the filter settings and the envelopes and the amount of envelope on the filters to be really, really similar. But they just behave differently. So they're never really going to sound the same. So, and I don't really want to make them sound the same. Both of these instruments have their own sort of character, and I want to kind of just let that kind of shine through. But this has sort of a, especially down low, it's really kind of a focused sound. There's almost, so even though there's no resonance at all, it's a little bit of a bow, 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 right? And that doesn't really exist here. It's a little bit more of a less focused kind of envelope. So I can shorten it, shorten the decay on the filter envelope. So that's a little closer. And the other thing is, this is interesting. Listen to the sustain. Okay? So a similar kind of tone here. But to get that tone and the way that envelope sort of opens with the filter, I don't get any sustain at all. And to get that sustain on the Matriarch, I have to really crank, so the sustain level right now is about 50%. That's pretty close. Where I'm sitting, the Model D is maybe slightly softer. The other thing that's really different about these two instruments is the Matriarch is stereo. Especially when it's stereo, definitely when you're going, so there's a stereo filter. From the filter section on, it's stereo. So there's a stereo low pass filter, and then it's going into stereo delay. And the Model D is just plain mono, straight up. Which frankly, for bass sounds especially, and maybe even for lead sounds, is probably preferable. Of course, you can always mix the Matriarch in mono. You can bring the pans to center. Cool. So now I'm going to bring in the third oscillator on the Model D, and that is going to be at the same pitch as the first oscillator, but now we're going to have a square wave. Whoops. And that really changes the tone, right? Like, check this out. Without, this is with. So that sort of focused quality kind of goes away when you bring in the square wave. With, without. Interesting, right? Okay, so now I'm going to bring in the third oscillator on the Matriarch. And so again, this is a square wave. Wow. What? And it just gets wide and gushy and so fast. So that sound specifically is not doable. Yeah, so we can get close to replicating this amazing pulse width modulation sound, which if Nick would hear, we'd all have a shot, right? Nick Bat, love you, man. I've learned so much from your videos, and I respect you so much. You have so much integrity and so much knowledge. So with a little bit of detuning of the oscillators, kind of get close, but not really. It's a different kind of sound. It doesn't really get as wide as the pulse width modulation. Another thing that I'm not even going to touch on today is that the Matriarch is much more. There's much more possibility for expression, and I have one simple little thing patched right now, which is. So I have the aftertouch patched to the filter envelope amount. So that's cool. You can also patch the velocity out wherever you like, into the filter or into the VCA. So just the amount of expression is much more available on the Matriarch, and that's why I love the Grandmother, because I've spent a lot of time with it, and I can really get that thing to feel not like a synthesizer, but like a musical instrument. As far as the way I play it and the way it responds to me, I love that, and you're never going to get that from the Model D. So, yeah, man. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I have another oscillator on the Matriarch because it has 4 oscillators. So maybe we put that up an octave on a sawtooth. Oh, dude, that is so big. Yeah, some stuff going on there, right? Having the Behringer Model D has made me lust after a mini Moog, and maybe sometime in my life I'll be able to own one. I've used one a lot of times in the studio, but I've never had one that I can take home and love and call my own. I would love that. It's definitely a dream synth of mine. But right now, having the Behringer around has made me love the Matriarch and the Grandmother even more. But I have to say that I'm finding a place in my sonic, emotional world that I think the Behringer Model D is going to fit. That's cool. Never say never, right? Thanks for watching today. I would love it if you would like and subscribe. If anybody's interested in jazz piano lessons, I do that. I'm a jazz pianist. Oh! All right. Like and subscribe. Love you guys. Take care. Peace out.